If I dropped you in New York City today, you would hear sirens, construction, and millions of people moving at full speed. But if I dropped you in this exact same spot in 1626, the silence would terrify you. Imagine standing in the middle of Times Square. Now delete the billboards, delete the pavement, delete the skyscrapers, delete every person you've ever seen here. What is left? A dense, dark forest. Massive oak and chestnut trees blocking out the sun completely. The ground beneath your feet, soft, wet, alive. And in the shadows, wolves, black bears, mountain lions watching you from the brush without making a sound. You are standing on the edge of the known world. There are no police to call, no hospitals, no roads, just wind, water, and a tiny, desperate trading post clinging to the southern tip of an island that has not yet decided if it wants you here. This isn't the New York you know. This is Manhattan. And before it became the city of dreams, it was a place of raw survival, confusion, and blood. We used advanced AI to strip away the concrete and steel and reveal the wilderness buried beneath your feet. What we found isn't just history. It is a warning about how great things are built and what they are built on top of. Welcome to New Amsterdam. This island already had a name long before any European ship appeared on the horizon. The Lenape people called it Manhattan, roughly translated as Island of Many Hills. And hills it had. Steep, rolling, covered in old-growth oak and chestnut forest so dense that sunlight barely reached the forest floor. More than 55 species of fish in the surrounding waters, over 230 species of birds in the trees, freshwater streams cutting through the rock. The Lenape had been living on and managing this land for thousands of years. They knew where the freshwater springs were. They knew where the wolves hunted at night. They knew the tides, the seasons, the soil. They knew this island in a way no European ever would. This was not an empty wilderness waiting to be discovered. It was a living, breathing world, already home. Then, in 1609, the silence broke. A Dutch ship appeared in the harbor. Its name was the Halve Maan. Its captain was Henry Hudson. And with that single arrival, the gears of commerce, ambition, and conflict began to turn, and they would never stop. Here is the part that should make you stop and think. The Dutch did not come here for freedom. They did not come here for God. They did not come here chasing some dream of a better life. They came here for beaver pelts. Specifically, the soft underfur of the North American beaver, a material that could be processed into felt to make the wide-brimmed hats fashionable across Europe. That hat on a Dutch merchant's head, thousands of animals paid for it with their lives, right here on this island and in the forests surrounding it. That is what started all of this. Not liberty, not faith, a fashion trend. To secure this fur trade, they needed a permanent base, and so in 1626, Dutch representatives secured control of Manhattan through an exchange of trade goods, tools, cloth, metals. The deal made sense in European logic. It represented ownership, permanent and absolute. But look closely at this AI reconstruction of that moment. There is a massive misunderstanding happening right here. The Lenape people did not believe land could be owned. To them, land was like air or water. It belonged to no one and everyone at the same time. They believed they were agreeing to share the use of the land, a practical alliance, a mutual arrangement. The Dutch believed they had purchased the island forever. That single misunderstanding, never resolved, never even properly discussed, became the foundation on which this entire city was built. We like to say New York was built on business. The truth is, New York was built on a miscommunication that neither side ever fully understood. Let's walk inside the settlement now. Duck your head.
The door frames are shorter than you expect. When the first Dutch settlers arrived, they did not build brick homes or cobblestone streets, they built huts. Many of the earliest shelters were nothing more than holes dug into the earth and covered with bark and branches to keep the rain out. This was not a colony yet. It was a campsite trying not to die. Imagine surviving a North American winter in a hole in the frozen ground, the cold seeping into your bones, the smell of smoke, damp wool, and unwashed bodies filling the space. No fire large enough to truly warm you, no privacy. Entire families, sometimes parents, children, and strangers renting a corner, sleeping pressed together in a single dark room for warmth. You lived, cooked, slept, and prayed in the same 10 by 10 space. In New Amsterdam, you were never alone. By the 1640s, actual wooden and then brick structures began to appear. The Dutch built with what they knew: stepped gable facades, steep rooftops, thick timber beams, small signs of home in a land that still felt foreign. But look at the ground beneath your feet. There are no cobblestones, there is no pavement. The streets of New Amsterdam were open pathways of mud, waste, and animal refuse. When it rained, they turned into thick, suffocating mire. Heavy wagons sank to their axles. People slipped and fell into filth that was genuinely dangerous to their health. The city's first sanitation system? Pigs. Thousands of them, roaming freely, official city policy. They consumed the garbage, the scraps, the waste. They were the garbage disposal. The smell alone would have made you turn back. And in that filth, disease did not just spread, it thrived.
Here is a chapter that does not always get told, but it has to be. By the mid-1600s, enslaved African men and women were being brought to New Amsterdam in increasing numbers, sold directly by the Dutch West India Company itself. Their labor built the docks. Their hands cleared the land. They worked the farms, the warehouses, the private homes. There were no public debates about it, no grand announcements. Slavery entered the economy of this city quietly, and it stayed. When you look at the AI reconstruction of this city rising from the mud, the structures, the walls, the fortifications, understand that much of what was built here was built by people who were given no choice, no freedom, and no acknowledgement. New York was not built only by ambitious merchants and adventurous settlers. It was built on forced labor. That truth is part of the foundation, whether we see it or not. Now look up at the rooftops. They are made of dried reeds and straw. And the chimneys? In the earliest days, people built their chimneys out of wood. Think about that for a moment. The structure meant to carry fire away from your home, made of the very thing that burns. The entire city was a tinderbox. One stray spark from a fireplace could jump to a straw roof, and within minutes, an entire street would be gone. The fear of fire was constant, a background anxiety that never left. And so, New York created the Rattle Watch. Men who walked the pitch-black streets at night, shaking loud wooden rattles to raise the alarm if they spotted smoke, screaming for citizens to grab their leather buckets and run. This desperate group of men running through darkness with buckets was the beginning of what would become the FDNY. The most famous fire department in the world started right here in panic and darkness out of sheer necessity. Step inside a home now. It takes a moment for your eyes to adjust because there is almost no light. Windows were small, taxed by size, and shuttered against the cold. Tallow candles threw weak, flickering shadows across rough wooden walls. Smoke stung your eyes constantly. This was not comfort. This was endurance.
Walk with me now to the northern edge of the settlement. Here, Governor Peter Stuyvesant ordered the construction of a massive 12-foot wooden wall in 1653. The reason was fear.
Fear of English attack from the north, fear of conflict with native peoples, fear of everything beyond the gate. But here is the part that gets left out of most history books. That wall was not built by Dutch soldiers. It was built by enslaved African men and women, forced to drag heavy timber through frozen ground, to dig, lift, and construct the very barrier behind which the colonists would feel safe. The wall became a psychological border as much as a physical one. On one side, civilization, law, the known world. On the other, wilderness, darkness, the unknown. People lived their entire lives in its shadow, afraid to step outside the gate after sunset. But walls have a way of becoming traps. As the population grew, the city could not expand. The streets grew more crowded, the air grew thicker, the safe haven became suffocating. And today, you know exactly where that wall stood. We call that street Wall Street. The financial center of the entire world sits precisely where terrified people once huddled behind timber and mud, hoping the darkness would not find them.
In 1664, the moment everyone feared finally arrived. 4 English warships entered the harbor. Their cannons were loaded. They were pointed directly at the city. Governor Stuyvesant wanted to fight. He stood on the fort walls, his wooden legs stomping against the stone, furious and unblinking. He shouted that he would defend this city to the last man. But the people of New Amsterdam, they refused. They had endured years of strict control under the Dutch West India Company, harsh rules, heavy taxes, little freedom. They gathered 93 signatures on a petition and handed it to Stuyvesant directly. Their message was simple. We do not care who rules us, just let us live and do business. Stuyvesant was forced to surrender. Not a single cannon was fired. The Dutch flag came down, the English flag went up. New Amsterdam died, and New York was born. But the city's history did not end there. In 1673, Dutch forces briefly recaptured the city, renaming it New Orange, a final echo of what it had been. A year later, it returned permanently to English control, and the transformation accelerated. By 1680, the population had surpassed 4,000. The city was a blend, Dutch brick facades and steep rooflines mixing with new English architectural styles. 2 cultures layered on top of each other, neither fully erasing the other. Today, when you look up at the glass towers of Lower Manhattan, you might think the old city is completely gone. It is not. When you walk down Broadway, you are following the exact trail the Lenape carved through the forest centuries before any European arrived. When you stand on Wall Street, you are standing on the footprint of a wooden barrier built out of fear and built by people who were never free. And Pearl Street? It is named for the oyster shells that once carpeted the shore so thickly that the ground shimmered in the moonlight like scattered pearls. The buildings changed, the skyline changed, the rules changed, but the soul of New York never did. It has always been a place where people arrive with almost nothing, where confusion and ambition tangle together, where the powerful build on top of the vulnerable, and where, somehow, against all logic, something extraordinary rises from the chaos. New York did not begin with a dream. It began with mud, pelts, fear, forced labor, and the stubborn human refusal to give up. And it is still being built. If you want to see more hidden histories reconstructed through AI, subscribe and let us know in the comments which city or moment in history would you want us to reveal next.